Good morning, students. Today we'll start the new chapter, chapter 13, that is Organism and Population. Ecology is the branch of science that studies the relationship between organisms and their physical and biological environment. Level of organization in ecology: biosphere, global processes; ecosystem, energy flux and cycling of nutrients; community, interaction among populations; population, population dynamics, the unit of evolution; organism, survival and reproduction, the unit of natural selection. Annual variation in the intensity and duration of temperature and precipitation are responsible for the formation of major biomes. The major biomes are Arctic and alpine tundra, coniferous forest, temperate forest, grasslands, tropical forest and desert. Biome distribution with respect to annual temperature and precipitation. See, the different types of biome as per the temperature and precipitation: desert, grassland, tropical forest, temperate forest, coniferous forest and Arctic and alpine tundra. The various factors which affects the environment are temperature, water, light and soil. That these are abiotic factors. Biotic factors are pathogens, parasites, predators and competitors, etc. Temperature, the physiological functions and geographical distribution of organism is governed by temperature. Temperature affects the kinetics of enzyme, BMR, the basic metabolic rate, and the other physiological action in organism. Eurythermal, a few organisms which can tolerate a wide range of temperatures are called eurythermal organisms. Clinothermal, many organisms which can tolerate narrow range of temperature are called clinothermal organisms. Water. Important factor influence the life of organism. The productivity and distribution depends on water. For aquatic organism, chemical composition, pH, salinity and temperature of water are important. Euryhaline, the organism which can tolerate wide range of salinity are called euryhaline. Psiophytes, small herbaceous plants and some shrubs live under the canopy. Forest trees are adapted to photosynthesis under very low light intensities are called psiophytes. Animals use the seasonal variation in the light intensity and photoperiod as cues for the timing of forage, reproduction and migration. The distribution of red, green and brown algae at different depth of water depends on light. Red algae can live in very deep water. Soil, nature and properties of soil depend on climate, weathering process. The physical and chemical properties of soil determines the type of soil, distribution. Organisms responses to environment regulation. Organisms maintain homeostasis in constant body temperature and osmotic concentration. Conformation majority is 99% of animals and plants cannot maintain a constant internal environment. Such animals and plants are simply called conformers. Their body temperature varies according to ambient temperature. In aquatic animals, the osmotic concentration of body fluid varies with ambient water osmotic concentration. Thermoregulation is energy expensive process. Heat loss or gain is a function of surface area. Therefore, small animals are not found in polar region. Migration. Organism can move away temporarily from stressful condition to another habitat is called migration. Suspensions. Organisms that cannot migrate suspend their metabolic functions during a stressful period. It is called suspension. For example, hibernation, estivation, and diapause. Hibernation is a process by which the animals avoid the stress and become inactive during winter. Example, polar bear, frogs, lizards. Estivation is a process by which the animals avoid the stress and summer related problem and become inactive during summer. Example, snails and fishes. Diapause, it is a stage of suspended development seen in many zooplankton to avoid unfavorable conditions. Adaptation is any change of the organism, morphological, physiological, and behavioral, that enables to survive and reproduce in its habitat. Adaptations have evolved over a long period of time and are genetically controlled. Examples: desert plants have thick cuticle on leaf surface, sunken stomata, leaves modified into spines due to CAM pathway, crystallization acid metabolism pathway, photosynthesis, the stomata remain closed during the day. Example, opuntia, cactus, etc. See the adaptation, how the organisms are adapted in the nature. Aquatic plants have evolved parenchyma for buoyancy and floating leaves have waxy covering. Desert animals, kangaroo, rat living in the desert of North America never drink water. The water requirement by internal fat oxidation, in which water is the byproduct. It is also able to concentrate its urine so that the minimal volume of water is lost during excretion. Allen's rule. Allen's rule states that animals from colder climate generally have shorter ears and limbs to minimize the heat loss. In polar seals have a thick layer of fat below the skin that acts as insulator. It reduces loss of body heat. Short ears and limbs minimize heat loss. Desert lizards keep their body temperature constant by behavioral adaptation. They bask in the sun and absorb the heat when their body temperature decreases below the comfort zone. Burrowing habit also helps to protect desert animals from high temperature.